Gonna make the profiles boom, boom, boom. I said boom, boom, boom. What they guess, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is today on Gunner's Profiles. Real talk, by a real one. Really did that, really done that. What it isn't is added preservatives. We're not gonna get down with that. You see the title, you see the thumbnail, you know what it is, old school norteños. Now, there's a big difference between old school norteños and the new school norteños. Difference is style, the way they dress, the way they're out there wiggling. Is it a big difference? Is it watered down? Not in the slightest. Chale. I disagree with anyone who says the game is watered down. I don't believe it is. I believe it has changed. It has manifested into something totally different, something that I never thought it would be. But it ain't a bad thing. It's far from that. Now trip out. When you're talking about norteños, you're talking about raza from up north, Northern California. 209, 559, 707, 415, 510. And the list goes on and on. No, I haven't forgot about the 916. Orale Sacra, stand up. Now, there's a lot of norteños, raza from up north, that consider themselves norteños just based on where they were born. But see, there's a big difference between where you were born and how you rock. Okay? There's a stilo. There's always been a different stilo about a norteño that I've always liked, that I've always agreed with, that I always was part of, that will forever be ingrained in my heart and in my mind. Etched in stone, cabron, that's the way it was, right? Forever forward, continuing the strive and the struggle. Okay? Just because a person is no longer in the mix or is no longer out there gangbanging or being a menace to society is what they consider us, doesn't mean he ceases to be a norteño. Okay? Someone who's born in the lands where I was born is always going to have struggles. We're always going to be looked at as different. You know, you have Southern California and Northern California. That dividing line is a made-up dividing line. That is a line that was put there and applied there by people that don't want us to think alike or think that we're anything alike when we are exactly alike. Only differences being in swag, stilo, the way we carry ourselves, the way we're indoctrinated and educated into the game. Whether it be in the gang life, the criminal life, or just as people. We're all the same, but we got a little bit of different wigglization. And in Menudo Style in direct fashion, I wanted to talk about old school norteños compared to new school norteños. You see the guys on the thumbnail, those are old school norteños from the 80s. That's actually my tío and his camarada from Sacra. They were in Tracy that time. That's old school. That's pre-structure. That's the politics weren't as heavy and as thick as they are now. There was a lot different going on. There was a lot more canalismo, a lot more love, a lot more embracement, a lot more homeboys looking out for one another. Now, the funny part of that picture, the funny backstory of that is my tío right there. He actually married his homeboy's sister. You know, back in them days, they hooked me up with your canala. God, stay out my mix. Hook me up with your canala. I'm trying to win one time. You know what I mean? From I don't know, bro, because the way that she works and the way that I work, hey, look it, this is the way I work, homie. You know, and eventually they got on the same page. They were taitas, they were good homeboys, and he did hook them up. And along came my primos, right? Or my primo, my prima, from that particular marriage. That's what it was. It was canalismo, homie. Because we're from East Los, homie. Hey, because we're from the west side of Merced, the west side of Fresno, the east side of Stockton, the north side of Sacra, the south side of Sacra, Tulare County, San Fran, Oakland, Monterey County, Santa Clara County, San Jose, stand up. You know, Milpitas, Concord, Vallejo, Richmond. You know, there's a lot of cities that get slept on and not talked about and not given their kudos. Antioch, Dirty Waters. A lot of people think that in Northern California, people are a little bit slower than others. Okay, we weren't raised to be tortugas. We weren't raised to lose. We were raised to win. Total victory is what we were always trying to achieve. Symbolization like the Huelga bird. It was meant to show the struggle and the strife that Cesar Chavez and the farm workers went through. You know, norteños adapted that symbolization because they also go through a struggle for social status of equality, a struggle to just get, demand, and be respected. just like everyone else. Now, the struggle, of course, is behind the walls. When you're in prison, you're taught a different way. When you're on the streets, you're taught a different way. But we ultimately knew as Norteños we would end up incarcerated because that's the life we were living. Okay, when you're making sacrifices and you're living a certain life, ultimately you're going to end up two ways, either dead or in prison. That's known. That's what you sign up for. That's part of the game. Now, how you proceed while you're incarcerated and what happens along the way, well, hey, let's say you got your own life to live, right? And things happen. Okay, doesn't mean you're any less of a man, but things happen. The old school ways of Norteñoism was a lot different from what they are now. See, now you have youngsters that are indoctrinated and educated into the political aspect of things. They are taught things that back in my days we weren't necessarily aware of. We weren't the awareness was there, but at the same time there was things we didn't speak on or things we weren't spoken of, and words you just did not say. And that's the way certain people wanted it, and that's the way it was gonna be. You know what I mean? Even when I found Dad, it wasn't my dad, like a goddamn dog. Orale. Spencer, La Bamba. Bob, this is just the way it was. I got locked up and incarcerated at the age of 18. After I got out of YA, my first stint in the county jail was at the age of 18. I lasted 3-4 months out before I was sitting down in the county jail. It was a lot different than what it is now. I get to the county jail and there wasn't no mandatory workouts. There wasn't no getting cleared. There wasn't no, certain politics and policies that I can't speak on that happen while you're incarcerated. It was just homeboys. Hey, where you from? I'm from M Street, or I'm from Loughborough, or I'm from Dead End. Ghetto boys were not, they weren't around at that time. And other barrios. RBL was there, and there was just certain barrios in Merced, and everybody was representing, and everybody was cool. Now, we had our internal beefs, north side, west side, and it was cracking. But when you got incarcerated, we knew enough to come together for power, like La Onda. But there wasn't no mandatory workout. You worked out if you wanted to. Now, anyone that was a soldado that considered themselves about that life and was a true believer, then he worked out. But it wasn't nobody telling you had to. There wasn't nobody forcing you to do anything. People weren't rolling up their mattresses. People weren't going that extra route. Now, I understand that structure is a great thing. Politics are good. Some people need structure in their life. They need to be told or at least, advised on certain things, because there's a lot of followers in this world that we live in. There's very few leaders, but everybody wants to be the chief and not enough Indians, right? Everybody thinks they have the qualities to be a leader until it's time to be a leader. Because the way my leadership game works is, hey, God, can you help me? Roll it up, right? Vatos don't want that static when it's time. When the time comes to shine, then you must shine. There is no pay no never mind. It's get it. With the old school Norteños like my tío and his homeboys, they would tell me stories. They would get out of prison. They would give me the game. And they would tell me about the true meaning of canalismo. The true meaning of, rocking next to your homeboy and being willing to put your life on the line for what you truly believe in. Now, Norteños have always been the minority group. It's just the way it is, eh? I didn't make the handbook. I just signed up. I didn't know this when I was young. I was always taught, and all I seen around me was several Norteños. So I thought, damn, we're deeper than everyone. Let's say, come and get it, whoever wants it, And then I got locked up, and I realized there was only 3 or 4 of us in the building, and the Southsiders were the dominant group. They were the deeper group. Now I know Los Angeles, down south, once you pass Bakersfield, it becomes congested with barrios. Meaning there's a lot of barrios. Everyone has been representing their barrio or their turf for years and years and decades and centuries. Some all the way past the century mark, since the 20s. And I respected that. I respected that that's where the Cholo style, that's where a lot of the clecha that we get up north came from. There was once upon a time, and a lot of people don't understand, they ask me a lot of questions. Hey, Gun, I heard this is north and this is south. And no. There was a time when there was no north and there was no south. There was just Somos Mexicanos, Raza way. That's all there was. And I'm trying to take it back there. Okay, in my mind, my mentality, I try to take it back there because I see all people as equal. I see all people as it's a beautiful cultura, a beautiful culture. And I've embraced it, and I see it from all angles and all aspects. I have familia that are from the south, as well as familia that are from the north. So I believe at the end of the day, we all eat frijoles. It's all the same damn thing. I might like flour tortillas, you might like corn tortillas, but at the end of the day, sorry, no tortillas. And we don't got nothing coming. Ain't that right, Woods? Sprinkle them in, Big Al. You know, con micro fingers and all kinds of weird stuff. So now, getting educated by old school norteños and the way they used to do it, that was how I was laced. That's what I believed in. That was my true belief system. Now I see younger norteños, it's a whole different style now. Okay, I understand times change, seasons change, seasons. Orale, the seasons have changed. But doesn't mean I think any different. You know, it moves fast now with the purpose. You know, everybody's out there chasing that elusive bag. Everyone's out there doing their own damn thing. You know, the pride in your barrio, the pride in your people is not necessarily there as much as it used to be, but it's still there. Some of these cats, man, are firm believers in what they truly believe in, but do they know the whole, you know, are they educated enough to understand the meanings of certain elements and certain things and the reasons why they're doing it? I was lucky enough to understand and become a true believer. Okay, along the line, my belief system in the cause, a lot of things that happened to me along the way, a lot of things I've seen with my own eyes, made me start to analyze and start to scrutinize what I was doing and why I was doing it. Was I in the wrong for that? As a man, I was making choices. Okay, were they the wrong choice or the right choice? Well, that depends on who you talk to. You could talk to some people and they're going to be on the other side and they're going to say, man, I wish I would have did this a long time ago. And then you're going to talk to some vatos that you'll see this look in their eye and they're like, man, I can't even stand being over here. I wish I was back, you know, in general population wiggling, you know. But things happen in life, such as life. It doesn't mean that burning desire and what they truly believe in is not there. Okay, and that goes for all groups. South, North, Woods, right? And brothers, others as well. When you're a firm believer in your people and you stand behind a cause, whatever that cause may be, it can never be watered down. It can never be minimized or demoralized, if that's a word. It is today, right? What it is real life. Is whatever you make of it is what it is. Okay? I was indoctrinated and taught by the old school norteños certain ways and reasonings. You know, certain meanings and clecha behind what I did. So I knew when I jumped in the pool, so I was scared, move over, say, you got a shark. I know, I'm not from Saho, but I'm a shark, eh? I'm in here. Okay, I'm not baby shark. I'm not no shower shark or nothing like that. Don't get it twisted. But I'm definitely someone different, you know, because I had an understanding and a knowing. And I struggled. You know, for people that don't believe in the struggle and don't understand, I struggled. That's it. Okay? I went down south. I laid down a foundation with several other homeboys. You know, we fought, maced, gaha, fought, maced, gaha, fought, maced, gaha, melees, riots, bliñas, fights, going at it with people that we had never seen before in our lives, just based on we understood that this was our enemy and we were their enemies and we seen each other as despicable, right? The other side. And that's just how it was. Okay, that was the old school norteño mentality. Just like it was an old school Southsider mentality. Mentalities change. They don't get watered down. They change. I hate when people say the game's watered down. Now, why? Because your crime partner told on you? Well, guess what? Hey, here's a news file. Whiz blow. My crime partner told on me too. Even back then. There's always going to be individuals, man, that are just in it to win it for themselves. You know, they're part of a group, but they're really not part of that group. Knowledge you can't get in college, right? They're their own group, bestie. You know what I mean? They're Albi to their shore. You know what I mean? They're baby to their face. You know what I mean? They're new to their edition. Wait up, New Edition was a good group. Pensa, strike that, reverse it. Utterly rough transplant, sensitivity. Now, what you need to understand is this. The old ways sometimes are the best ways. Sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, many of the struggles and the strife that these individuals went through, the forefathers to lay the foundation down for what's going on now, need to be respected. See, vatos think just because I'm waving a Huelga bird flag or I'm still out here striving that they're respecting the old ways. That's furthest from the truth. To respect the old ways is to truly respect and learn your history and know where you come from. Okay? When you're out there wearing red or blue or green or whatever color represents your people, you know, you have to wear it with pride. You have to wear it with the understanding that there's going to be other people out there that don't like that color because you're wearing it. And you got to be willing to lay your life down on the line for that. Not to take that shirt off. See, there was plenty of times when I was incarcerated that people approached us and said, you guys need to put on your shirts. You can't take them off. You can't display your tattoos. You can't show your values. You can't bust our eyes. And the first thing we did was take our shirts off. We already knew what that meant. We already knew what time it was. It wasn't about going against the grain. It was sticking true to what our beliefs and what we believed in as men. Not only as norteños, but as men. That's what it was. Okay? Now, you need to understand that in the future, nowadays, there are a lot of youngsters that are willing to leave that shirt on as well as take it off. Just like there was guys that put that shirt on back in our days. Things have not changed other than appearance. Okay? Maybe a little bit harsher rules and regulations. I'll admit that. You know, I got to see both sides of the coin. That's it. I got to see both generations. See, I'm in the middle. You know, I got the understandings and the old school clecha from the old time norteños. The ones that founded this. The 70s, the 80s. When Norte started. When we became norteños. Okay? And what it meant and the pride to be one. Okay? And then I got to see where vatos were mandated in certain situations. And that's not because they weren't doing it right. It's because different people had different, ways of doing things. And like I said, seasons change, right? And a little bit more structure got implemented because it was a good thing for the people. But instead of embracing it and taking it and running with it and seeing the good, they seen the bad. And a lot of people started to fall off on the wayside. In the 2000s, we had the biggest dropout mass exodus ever in the norteño gang. Okay? Why? Was it people opening their eyes and seeing it for what they truly thought it was? Nah. It was because a lot of people were getting exposed for being weak-minded. Now, someone who's been whacked and taken off the yarda, deserving, hey, vámonos, ese. See you later. Those of us that struggle and strive for the old ways and were crossed out by the new ways, like myself, it is what it is. It's just something I'll have to deal with forever. Is it a hard thing to deal with every day? Absolutely it is. Do I miss the homeboys and the canalismo? Absolutely. Would I change my life today? Chale. And the reason is everything that has happened is according to a plan. It's all by design. It's an agenda. Okay? Did I drop out? Never. Drop out? I didn't even go to high school. It's it. You know what I mean? Did I drop out? No, I was pushed out. Pushed away because of my beliefs, which were of the old ways when the new ways were taking over. Okay, if I would have seen it, I would have adapted. But of course, my mentality was so ingrained and stuck in the old ways, I couldn't let it go. But now I've let it go. Now I'm of the understanding I'm no longer in good graces. I am no longer that man I once was. I'm an older man. I'm a grandfather. I'm a father. I'm a productive member of society. I'm a YouTuber. I'm getting my money, right? I'm winning, right? Bust down, Tortiana, bust down. Sprinkle them in, right? Guard! He's over there doing this thing too. Shit, he knows what it is. He's a dropout CEO. Now, trip out. Do I push poison? Do I think that the younger generation doesn't have what it takes? Obviously, they do because they keep manifesting the norteño cause and they keep making it happen. And if you speak it into the world, it shall become. So they're doing their thing. I don't take nothing from it. There's been a lot of people that say, oh, you cap on the youngsters. You clown on the youngsters. You got that old school mentality, homie. Sorry, man. This is the future. Let's say we're different. Hey, and I embrace that. And hey, ¿sabes qué? Bang, bang. I don't hate on nobody. If anything, I see it and I believe it. Will I ever go against the grain with my people? Do I hate my people? Why? What reason do I have to hate my people? Look at me, I'm still pretty. I didn't get whacked. I didn't get cut. I didn't get sliced. I didn't debrief. I didn't do nothing that would harm my people, rather than just got pushed to the side and came out swinging. That's it. No one-on-one, you never hurt nobody, right? It just is part of the game. Do I still want to be that? No. Will I always consider myself a Mexicano from the northern part of town? Absolutely, right? But I got love for everyone. And I believe as men we should. So the old school Norteño ways are still indoctrinated in me, and they'll never go away or never fade away. I got nothing but love and respect for those who continue that struggle right now, today. And that ain't never going to change. For the new school and the youngsters that are doing their thing, continue that strive, continue that struggle. But never, never, ever forget those that came before you. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming to you. Just a little knowledge you can't get in college, a little clecha, a little game. You know what I mean? Pay attention if you ain't no lame. You know what it is. If you like this, hit that like and subscribe. Or you can hit me with the thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears Gunner's crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in as a person right now. As a vato from Northern California. And that's, we're all brown. That's it. We're all brown. Bang, bang.